Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Weekly Rewind presented by Attractions Magazine. Today is July 14th, 2014, and I am your ever-excited host, Nick Russo. Now, for those of you who don't know, the idea for this show was started as a segment on Photo Finds, which is another channel elsewhere on this channel. Another show elsewhere on this channel. We have some positive feedback from this segment, and so we decided to give the Weekly Rewind its own spotlight each week. Each week we're going to take a look back on the last 7 days on the Attractions Magazine Twitter feed. We'll review some of the pictures and posts that we have shared, as well as the content that our followers on Twitter have shared with us through retweets and such. Hopefully this will be a great way to get you guys involved and better connected to us, and right now we're even talking about how to get a contest or two put together down the road, so maybe we can get some prizes out to you guys. And it's just all about staying even more connected. And alright, without further ado, let's begin. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started on July 7th, 2014. First thing we're going to see is that a few of these interactive character wands were available for purchase at the Universal Studios store on City Walk. Perhaps they were anticipating the crowds within Ollivander's and the other wand shops within the Wizarding World, so they planned accordingly to get more of these wands sold. Moving on to July 8th, these pictures were all taken on opening day of Diagon Alley. Earlier in the day, after the sun had come up, crowds were kind of non-existent out on City Walk and over by the turnstiles, which was rather surprising. Once back over near the land, several lines were beginning to group together in different locations over by Fear Factor and Men in Black and all those areas over there. Clearly there was a lot learned from the opening of Hogsmeade back in 2010, because this opening was a lot less chaotic. It was actually inside of Diagon Alley itself that the enormous crowds manifested. Confetti was lining the streets after the opening festivities had ended, and really made the wait time shoot up to over 450 minutes. And the opening day actually included a commemorative park map themed to Harry Potter, of course. Moving on to July 9th, we saw the brand new Harry Potter themed billboards that have been springing up around various locations around town. Also on July 9th, we saw that the La Bamba restaurant at Universal made one of its very rare openings to accommodate the massive crowds, get some bellies full. We saw that the queue for the Hogwarts Express had gotten up to 40 minutes, which at this point was the longest we had all seen it. At that point, it was pretty much just some 30s, some occasional 35, mostly 15, 20 minutes. And also on July 9th, there were a lot of people watching the World Cup over at the Hot Dog Hall of Fame. Nice to see that Jumbotron in use. To July 10th, 2014, a new icy stand had opened up at Fun Spot Orlando, keeping the guests cool. Gotta. Also on July 10th, over in Epcot, thanks to Outpost Orlando, we saw some guests creatively trying to escape the flooded streets, keeping their socks dry there. On July 11th, thanks to Magic City Mayhem, we saw the progress coming along nicely at the upcoming Starbucks on Sand Lake over near International Drive. And also on July 11th, thanks to Christina at UCF, she showed us her perspective on what can be seen when the escape from Gringotts Rod goes down and the work light actually come on. Kind of a cool sneak peek there, not something you always get to see this early on. On July 12th, the line to get a personalized Coke can over at Epcot was about 45 minutes, not too bad for something that unique. And here is what those Coke cans actually look like once you get them customized and made and printed out. Also in Epcot on July 12th, some construction walls have gone up, and there is some construction going on over by Club Cool at Epcot. And elsewhere in Epcot over at the UK Pavilion, a bunch of new Doctor Who merchandise went up for sale there. Coming to our last day here, July 13th, wrapping things up, we headed over to Legends at Old Town where they were doing their special werewolf event, and we saw Little Red Riding Hood. Well, not so little in this picture, but she was out there hunting werewolves with her crossbow there. Also, July 13th, back over to Universal on this day, touring plans showed us that guests could now freely enter Diagon Alley on either end of the London waterfront without going through that crazy 6, 7, 8 hour queue, which is very good news. And finally, guys, FL Thrill Parks posted this picture that kind of precursors a pretty amazing innovation. I think we can all agree that we kind of all want to try this now. a butterbeer float, getting the best of both worlds, butterbeer and butterbeer ice cream. All right, guys, thanks for sticking with us for our first ever episode of the Weekly Rewind. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the comments. And like I said, be sure to keep in touch because we're going to try to get you guys even more involved in the very near future. So hope to see you next week. And until next time, have fun, guys. Bye.